question. I don't know if you have the answer in front of you. When we're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, when we're talking about traumatic brain injury, how many human beings are we talking about who are suffering from these illnesses?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, VA is taking care of slightly over 500,000 people with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Let's stop right there. 500,000 returning soldiers.
Correct. Not just returning. This is our whole population, Mr. Chairman.
This is not just Iraq and Afghanistan.
I was about to get to Iraq.
Okay.
We have about 119,000 people from the present conflicts that carry the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay. There's an issue. I mean, that's just a huge number. And it gives us an indication of the enormity of the problem that we're trying to address here. It's a lot of people. There's an issue that we did not talk about very much today or in your testimony, and that is TBI, traumatic brain injury. I think, as we all know, one of the signature illnesses of these wars, Iraq and Afghanistan, with the incredible amount of explosions that our soldiers were exposed to. Talk a little bit. How many folks are we talking about who you think have the diagnosis of traumatic brain injury?
We have tested since several years ago, more than 5, I believe. Everybody that comes back from combat experience, we have evaluated them for traumatic brain injury. There are 3 levels of traumatic brain injury. There's severe PTSD. I think we're all familiar with that. These are people who are often cared for in our polytrauma centers and have many other complications such as amputations and blindness. Relatively small number of people, measured in the couple of thousand. 395,000 people have been screened. We identified 54,000 of those people who screened positive so far for possible traumatic brain injury. And out of that, with quite sophisticated testing, we've identified 35,000 people that have mild to moderate traumatic brain injury.
You're telling us that we have some 35,000 people from Iraq and Afghanistan who have mild to moderate traumatic brain injuries?
Yes, most of them are from Iraq and Afghanistan. There are some that have been injured in training accidents, etc., but the vast majority are from the conflict.
And that's a tough, TBI is a tough illness to deal with, is it not?
Well, Mr. Chairman, the biggest issue there is that we don't know what the long-term consequences are of mild to moderate traumatic brain injury. And this is one of the reasons why we have a registry, why we've tested all these people, identified people with that diagnosis, had them on a registry, and now can follow them over an extended period of time with a very good baseline evaluation. It is speculated that depression, anxiety, PTSD, and endocrine disorders may be more common in those people with mild to moderate TBI going forward.
Okay. We're going to